Hi guys, it's Danny at Underground Reptiles, back again with some cool creature content. Today we have some Saharan Uromastyx. We have our yellow, we have our red. As you can see, they're extremely colorful. Now these guys are naturally from Africa, Togo, Mali, Niger. And these guys right here are males. Males are usually going to be more colorful. The females will be a little bit duller. The males will be anywhere between, I want to say, about 13 to 16 inches when fully grown. Females will be slightly smaller, anywhere between 11 to 14 inches. They're typically desert dwellers. Now, with that being said, that means that they like arid, dry conditions. When kept in captivity, you definitely want to replicate that. So I would always suggest, again, keeping it dry, keeping it humidity very low. Below 35 is going to be the best thing. Ample ventilation is key. Lifespan with these guys, when they're kept healthy, kept in good conditions, can be anywhere but 10 to 20 years. So that's definitely an investment. Uromastyx giri is the scientific name, and it comes from a German zoologist that discovered them, Hans Georg von Schweppenberg. That's his name. So thank you, Hans. As you can see, their tails right here, they have these spiky protrusions. Now, I'm touching them here. They're not hurting me, but I can't say that for anybody else that gets in their way. Another cool feature that you can see on their sides, their skin's really wrinkly. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're skinny. These guys are pretty chunky. That extra skin, that extra flab actually helps in when they're trying to scurry into tight rocks and places. They flatten their body out so they can get into crevices and stuff like that to hide. And that's a big thing in their enclosures. Whenever you are setting them up, you want to make sure that you have a lot of rock spaces for them to hide in. They're not necessarily communal. There are some people that have kept them together, raised like mating pairs, boy and girl. Males you don't want to keep together. They'll definitely just fight all the time, so I wouldn't suggest doing that. Temperatures in their enclosures are very, very big. These, like many other reptiles, they self-regulate their temperatures, so you need to provide a proper temperature gradient. Basking spots are going to be pretty high. They like it sometimes as high as about 120 degrees. Again, that can vary a little bit. Temperature gradient, you want to make sure that the cool side's around 80 degrees. They can do well into temperatures high 60s, but I wouldn't suggest keeping it any colder than that. If your home is colder than that, wherever you're from is colder than that, we would suggest doing some sort of heat emitter at night. It doesn't provide any light, but it emits the heat that they need. You know, their life expectancy is going to depend on how you maintain them. That's why I would suggest or say that they are moderately difficult. So I wouldn't suggest them to anybody that's a beginner. Beginners, I would always suggest like bearded dragons, leopard geckos. But again, if you're willing to put in the work, put in the research, do your homework, very important, they're great and they'll do really well. Food-wise, these guys are omnivorous. They're normally going to be eating plants, plant matter. In some cases, very rare cases, you can give them the occasional cricket, occasional mealworm, superworm. But again, few and far between treats. You can do romaine lettuce, escarole, dark leafy greens, split peas, crushed beans, lentils, millet, which is birdseed. Diet is very important. Enclosure, humidity, temperatures are extremely important for these. This red and yellow Saharan Uromastyx, they're actually going to be the smallest out of 10 plus species of Euros that can range to up to the largest Euros in the world, which are over 2 feet long. Babies and juveniles can start in like a 20-gallon tank. Adults, I would suggest a 40 to 50-gallon tank. If you really want to go crazy, you can do a custom-built enclosure. It would be probably 5 by 2 by 2, and they'll live in there their entire life. Again, they like to hide a lot. As far as substrate goes, you want something that's not going to retain humidity. I would suggest a mixture of soil and sand and peat to kind of emulate their natural habitat. Lots of rocks, a hide box. Decorations are going to kind of fall on you, whatever you want to do. They don't really care what's in there. That's up to you. Live plants and things like that, again, you don't want anything that retains moisture in there. So you want to make sure that you get rid of anything that could cause excess moisture. They get most of their water from their food. So you don't necessarily need to put a water dish in there because, again, it does raise the humidity. These guys are pretty incredible. All right, y'all, you know where to find them? UndergroundReptiles.com. Get yourself one. Whoa.